What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. This is a video that I am super excited about. This is Speed Racer issue number 1, coming from Mad Cave Studios, and one of my favorite writers that has been an up-and-coming over the last couple of years, DAVIDE PEPOSE. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because I absolutely loved his independent comic, The OZ, The Occupied Zone, a reimagining of The Wizard of Oz. A comic that I deeply connected with, and if you watch this, I still need issue number 3. You gotta finish out that story for me, man, I need it! But he's known for doing things like Space Ghost, Captain Planet, Savage Avengers, so on and so forth. And he's also got an amazing team behind him on this. But this is an all-new interpretation of Speed Racer, paying homage to the OG stuff. This is an interesting comic, and as somebody that grew up on Saturday morning cartoons, being born in 1990, I had all of this stuff on reruns on repeat. So diving into Speed Racer number 1, I am so excited for. Now this story, it starts us 10 years ago. It picks up with his older brother Rex. A pulse-pounding competition, but Rex Racer, he crosses that checkered line. He wins the Mystic Grand Prix. And this was one of the best days for this family. Pops Motors winning this race. It was huge. Everyone was happy. This was a core memory for him. This is where we pick up with Speed Racer in current day. 10 years later, and we have Speed hopping into the Mach 5. Tonight, the champion of Palm City is taking on all and any challengers. This is a straight-up street race. And then off to the side, we have Spritle and Chim Chim. The two of them, they're live broadcasting this to everybody. Everyone is seeing this stream, letting everybody know that they're racing with Formula X rules tonight. It's on your marks, ready, set, go! And if you're a newcomer to Speed Racer, this is where we get a little introduction to what Formula X means. Now, Formula X rules kind of means things are more dangerous. There's an extra X factor, if you will, such as battle rocket launchers, weapons that come out of the vehicle and shoot projectiles, whether they be energy-based or whether they be bullets and things of that nature, rivet guns, so on and so forth. Every Formula X racer, they choose their own weapons very carefully. Some prefer guns and blades, while others go more exotic with the hardware, such as the Skull and Bones mace, or like the addition to the Mach 5, which is belt tires, giving the Mach 5 the opportunity to drive on walls and things of that nature, defying gravity. Some want to be faster or stronger, while other drivers, they want to be smarter. And once you open up your mind, you'll see that there are all kinds of possibilities. As we see the Mach 5 come crashing through a building, Speed Racer is not pulling any punches. Seeing the auto jacks go off just in the nick of time, Speed Racer jumps over the finish line. Now, as our boys take their cut and they head back to the garage for the night, they think that they're gonna be able to go in and hide this from Pops without him finding out. And they might have been able to do that. The thing is, they live streamed the entire event. Like, they posted it on what they call ViewTube. It was inevitable that Pops was gonna figure this out. That's where Sprite's like, alright, that's my cue, I'm out of here, see you later guys, goodbye. This is where Pops finds out that Speed's been missing class. He hasn't been to class in months. But Speed knows the truth. He knows all the unpaid bills that have been stacking up. Their mother left because of what he says is just self-pity. So while he sits here and he wallows, while he goes through all of his grieving, somebody's got to make extra money. Somebody's got to make sure that they don't lose the house. But Speed's dad just wanted him to make something of himself. And this is why Speed has been pushing to go into the Formula X League. The championship is worth $1 million. It would pay for everything that they need. That if he could just finish his designs for the Mach 5, they would be able to go on. But he tells them that you don't have the experience. Have you forgotten what happened to your brother? And though Speed would argue that if you didn't want that to happen, you shouldn't have pushed him away. That he would be ashamed of the coward that you have turned into. He vows this day that he's not gonna live this way. That he will not live his life standing still. Needing to get out of here, he heads over to Victory Lane Diner. Grabbing himself a milkshake, he sees somebody on the phone. Somebody that looks rather new to town, not sure who this is. Making his introductions, Speed learns her name is Trixie. Now, as he slyly makes his way in and is able to sit in the booth with her, we pick up at Pop's shop. Now, he calls his ex and he's really saying that he needs some help with Speed. He's afraid that he's pushing Speed away just like he did to Rex. He's looking for some help. He's looking for maybe a little bit of guidance. But while he makes this phone call, this is when some hot rods show up outside of his shop. And these guys come from the Tiger Syndicate. They're here because they want the GRX engine. But he says no. There's no way in heck I'm gonna make that engine again. It's too dangerous to be rebuilt. And they tell him that if you're not gonna do it, then we're gonna give you a beatdown. We're gonna make you change your mind. A little extra incentive to do our bidding. All while this is happening, we have Spritle and Chim Chim that are watching it all happen. And so when we pick up with Speed making his way back home, he sees the Tire Syndicate cars screeching off from the shop. In a state of panic, he rushes. He sees the door open. He goes inside, and this is where they find him. Pops is on the ground, and he is in a very weak state. In the midst of this attack, Pops had a heart attack, barely holding on to life. They need to call an ambulance, but it would never get here fast enough. Speed knows what he has to do, though Pops is trying to weakly tell him that it's too dangerous. There is no other way. He throws everybody into the Mach 5, and they hightail it down the road. This quickly catches the attention of the local law enforcement. Using the Mach 5 to its fullest, he activates the tire and he begins to climb up the walls, breaking his way through the barricades using the auto jacks. The Mach 5 comes screeching into the emergency room. The nurses rushing out with a gurney. They're able to throw Pops onto it and get him inside. And it's not long before the red and blue sirens come from behind him, guns drawn on him. Palm City Police has finally caught up to him. One thing Pops had told him right before he went into the hospital was don't trust the cat team. Though Speed has much bigger problems to deal with right now. This is what takes us elsewhere. We have Lampster, who appears to have gotten into a terrible accident. And that is because of Racer X. He has chased him down. He has gave him one heck of a beatdown. And he wants a message delivered to the Tiger Syndicate. He wants them all to know that Racer X is coming for them. And when he does, their entire operation is gonna burn to the ground. It doesn't matter what the cost. And that is where this issue will end. This was one heck of an issue. Now, issue number 2 is coming August 27th, and then we're also going to be able to follow the adventures of Racer X in his own series, September 10th. Just wanted to make sure I got those dates right. But yeah, this was super awesome. Kind of a great new interpretation, but also having nice little homage to the OG stuff. Now, I think we're all gonna assume Racer X at this point is gonna be, it's gonna be Rex. Rex Racer has gotta be Racer X. But I wouldn't mind them doing a little bit of a flip and being like, no, this is totally someone else. This was all smoke and mirrors. Nonetheless, I'm here for it. I'm definitely gonna be picking up issue number 2 and Racer X. You know, we've been branching off into other comics outside of Marvel and DC for quite a while on this channel, and anytime we get the opportunity to, we love to build up any comics that aren't the big two so that they get their opportunity, they get their night in the sun, or day in the night in the sun, they get their day in the sun, their opportunity in the spotlight. We want them to shine, and David Pepose, he has been a writer that has been shining. He's got a lot of different works out there right now. He's been working across a lot of different publications and really doing amazing work. From his own stuff like Scout's Honor or the OZ, to stuff like Savage, Avengers, and Captain Planet. Not only that, they put an amazing team behind him of artists and colorists that are doing phenomenal work. But if you're a newcomer to Speed Racer, I think this is a great entry point. This is a great introduction to kind of tip your toes in and find out what he's all about. If you're an OG fan that has grew up on this stuff your entire life, this comic, I think, is just as equally, if not more enjoyable. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that is going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description, as well as the top of this video. It's gonna get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. Everything going on with our indie comic series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50 from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you're getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, please do me the favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.